Dude, come here. You want tea at Liberty University? I freaking knew it! I knew it!
Let's go, welcome to my channel. Subscribe.
Hey, what's up you guys? It's Austin and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so like somebody mentioned that I should say welcome or welcome back to my channel because not everybody has been to my channel before. So if you're new here, hey, how are ya? How'd you get here? If you haven't already done it, you should subscribe down below because you've already gotten all the way here and it's a fun time over here on my channel, so.
I see you.
So for today's very good and fun, fresh, special video, I am doing something that is highly requested and I have not done one of these videos in a really long time, but it is time, guys. It is time. I know you guys keep asking me for it and
I'm giving it to you guys, okay? I'm giving you guys what you want.
The last time I did this video, you guys absolutely blew it out of the water. You guys loved it so much and I was like, you know what? I should revisit this because this is actually something that is going to be a big part of my life coming up. So for today's video, I am going to be doing a college Q&A, spilling a little bit of university tea and revisiting some of the old topics that I talked about in my last Spilling the Tea on Liberty University video. So without further ado, let's get into that video. So for those of you who do not know, I am a senior now,
Which is kind of crazy.
I don't really know. I'm not graduating this year, so don't freak out, but I am a senior at Liberty University and my brain just sometimes says no. So at Liberty, I am an entertainment journalism and digital media performance major. So basically news broadcasting, entertainment journalism, all that fun stuff. I am super obsessed with it. I love it so much and I'm very excited to be getting back into it very soon. So today is Monday and I leave to go back to school on Wednesday. So I was like, you know what? This is the perfect time to sit down and film this video right before I go back to school. I have my coffee here with me, guys. I am ready to go. I'm ready to revisit some tea here. So let's get started. So I did ask you guys on Instagram, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, go ahead and follow me at AustinFarmerie. I asked you guys for some new college Q&A questions and you guys came through and delivered, but before we do that, I actually wanted to revisit some of the older questions I answered in my first Q&A because I feel like my answers could be the same, could be kind of different, but we're gonna do that really quickly and then we'll go ahead and get into some new questions. Okay, so one of the questions that you guys asked me a lot last time around was dorm decorating tips. How did I decide to decorate my dorm? How to make your dorm aesthetic? And I just wanted to put this as the first question in here because I am so excited to be doing a new little series on my channel. It's not gonna be really much of a series, but like I am gonna actually go through the entire design process of my dorm this year instead of doing like a dorm tour like, oh my gosh, this is this. I'm actually gonna sit down and talk about the different areas and spaces in my dorm and I'm gonna tell you guys where I got the products from and like what I was thinking when I went ahead and like did the decoration. So if you guys wanna see that, make sure you stay subscribed, turn on my post notifications. I don't really know. I'm just like promoting everything this time around and I'm so annoyed at myself. But if you guys wanna see that, make sure you guys stay around. So on the topic of dorms, one of the other questions was, what is it like living with dorm mates? Guys, okay, so basically my first year of college, I lived with 6 other guys in like an apartment style, and I didn't really like that because as much as you guys would think that living with 6 other guys is actually more social than another dorm style, it wasn't. Very secluded, didn't love it. If you guys are going to Liberty University and you are thinking about staying on East, I would, if you guys are very social, but if you like your peace and quiet a lot, I would say live on East. But if you're somebody like me that loves social interaction all the time, it's not for you, love.
Don't lie to yourself.
So this year I am living on Commons and I did live on Commons last semester, but I only lived in Commons for 2 semesters because the fall semester I was doing the Disney college program. Then I came back to school in January, went home in March, blah, blah, blah. You guys know the end of the story. So I'm excited to be living in Commons again. And I have one other roommate and I actually know my roommate this year, which is super exciting. So I cannot wait for that. One of the questions that I thought was so funny that I answered in this last Q&A was, what is your favorite thing to eat at the Raw? I don't know what I was thinking when I answered that question, but love, I don't even like the Raw. I don't even know why I answered that. So I'm sorry if I offended any of you, but the Raw is just not it. It's just not it. But I mean, like, I do go there because, you know, it's a part of the meal plan and sometimes you have to go to the Raw. But okay, so one of the questions that really got everybody last time around was spill some Liberty University tea. And actually watching back on this answer, I was kind of of shocked because I did this Q&A after my first semester of college and I wasn't expecting to give the answer that I did, but I watched back and I was like, you know what? That's kind of true. So some Liberty University tea, and if you guys are a freshman going into Liberty, this is something that I really want you guys to stay aware of because it's actually something that I really just don't like, and it's the cliques on campus. Liberty can tend to get really cliquey, and there are a few very prominent groups on campus, and I just like to pay no attention to that energy because it's just not good for me personally, and I know it's just like kind of toxic, and it's very obvious once you get there what the cliques are and who's in them. And as bad as that is to say, I'm just being honest with you guys, and that is one of the things that bothers me a lot is the clickiness and how people in these cliques tend to be, how do I say this? They tend to be looked at as the most spiritual people on campus because they are in this clique. And I'm not questioning their walk with the Lord. I just don't enjoy the whole cliquiness factor. And it almost seems like sometimes when you're not in the clique, you don't have as many opportunities, so to say. And it's just kind of like, you know what? This ain't worth it. That is not worth it. I don't want to be a part of that. And you know what? You don't have to be a part of that. You don't have to be a part of the clique to be cool, guys. Okay, so that is just a few of the questions that I wanted to get into and answer from the last Q&A. I know that there's more, so if you guys want me to do a part 2 to this video or part 3, part 4, I don't really know. Let me know in the comment section down below. Okay, so I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me any type of question, not to hold back. You could ask me anything about college, partying, relationships, blah, 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 all that type of stuff. So somebody replied to the story and said, LOL, partying at Liberty. And you know what? Like, as much as you guys would like to think that it doesn't happen, it does happen sometimes. There are Liberty parties, and I have heard of some Liberty parties that are not dry, so to say. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know. I personally am not a huge partier. I don't like to party at all. I don't drink, so that is like, if there was a party, I probably wouldn't be at it. I have been to some like commons parties, but those are typically pretty like chill. When I say chill, I mean like not like drugs and alcohol type party, but last year at one of the commons parties that we were at, they did end up cracking the ceiling. So that is something that happened. So I mean, like, I don't really know how that happened, but it did. Okay, so somebody asked me about my study method, and I thought this was a really good question because I think that my study method has changed so frequently. So basically, my study method when I was in my prereq classes is I really liked making my own type of quizzes or like my own type of note cards and stuff like that and testing myself on the content. But as I have gotten into more of my major specific classes, actually we don't test as often, and it actually is just a lot of huge projects and like a lot of things that require like the knowledge that I've learned. So it's not necessarily tests, but it is like taking what I've learned and applying them to a project. So I would say my study method definitely has changed a lot, and I think that depending on what your major is, your study method might change like when you're in your major classes too. But as far as prereqs go, I love the study method of making my own test. So the next question that I'm gonna answer, I thought is really interesting, and it was, when you first started university, how long were you homesick for? Also, by the way, I love your videos. That is so sweet. Thank you so much. I really appreciated it. And I thought that this was a good question because if you guys don't know, I live in Florida and I go to school in Virginia. So that is about a 13-ish hour drive. So I was a good decent amount away from home. And honestly, being homesick is something that comes and goes, to be honest. You know, I don't really know how to explain it, but basically I would say when I first moved into my dorm, first time moving away from home, I would say I was homesick for a little bit, but having all of my friends and having all of the support around me actually really helped with that. But then like throughout the semester, you know, you end up missing things. Like I have a little sister and I miss, like, I don't know, I miss seeing her kind of grow up and like some like pivotal points of her life. So then you get homesick at different times, but I really genuinely do love being at school. So that is kind of what helps me with my homesick is homesickness. I don't really know how to say that. It helps me because I enjoy being at school. It's the type of situation where I love where I am, so being homesick is kind of overridden by that, you know? The next question I thought was kind of funny, and it says, how the hecky did you make all those friends in college? I legit only made one. And I think this is such an interesting question because for me personally, I just literally love people. And I think that when I went to school, I just made a whole bunch of friends that I ended up just literally sticking around with. But one thing that I want to say is that some friends that you meet at the beginning of your semesters and at the beginning of college are not friends that are meant to stick around in your life for the rest of your college career, if that makes sense. So basically, I made friends at the beginning at different social events that I ended up not talking to a little bit later, and it's not like a bad thing because I personally believe that God puts certain people in your life for certain seasons. Sorry if you guys can hear the thunder, it's like raining outside. Well, I mean, like not yet, but soon, I think. But I will say that I think it's really important that when you go to school that you go to as many social events as possible to meet new people. And I know that sometimes being outgoing is kind of hard, but that is how you're gonna make friends. And by going to different social events, you're gonna meet people that you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, like I have a lot in common with this person. And then you're gonna make one friend, and then that one friend is gonna make friends, and then you're gonna make friends with those people. And it just ends up becoming a beautiful thing where you've made some friends. And I think that's how it worked for me, is that I met people and then I met their friends and then I became friends with them and we just became like a friend group, and that is just how it worked. I made friends on my own and introduced them to my own friends, and I think it's really just a good, healthy balance of being social and making sure you're putting yourself out there, because like I said in my last Q&A, I went to every single social event, and even though sometimes I didn't really want to, I did, and some of those social events is where I met like my best friends that I have now. So I would say really put yourself out there, even if it's difficult. I know that social anxiety sucks, and I know that it's just not fun, but I really do think that is a great way to go meet friends. Also, if there's clubs on campus, maybe join a club, because that is where you're gonna find people that are interested in what you're interested in, because obviously you're in the club for a reason, because you like that topic, you know? Okay, so the next question is, how do you motivate English? How do you motivate yourself for early classes? And oh my gosh, guys, I cannot stress this to you enough. If you do not have to take early classes, by early I mean 8:15 specifically. I think 9 a.m.s are like pretty okay. Like I have a few 9 a.m.s this coming semester, but 8:15 classes, guys, if you think it's gonna be okay,
You're lying to yourself.
because my first semester I was like, oh, I get up at like 6 a.m. for high school, like oh, I can do an 8 a.m. class. It's a lie. It's a lie. I thought the same exact thing, and for some reason I just don't understand why it's so much harder to get up when you're in college. Those 8:15 classes were rough. I only ever slept through the class one time, and I ended up still making it, which is kind of funny, but like that's another story for another time. But literally guys, if you can, 9 a.m.s are the way to go. That's the earliest class that I think that I would take. Obviously, if I had to take an 8:15, I would, but guys, if you, like, I'm just trying to save your butt. Like 8:15s, 8 a.m.s are just so difficult to get up for. I don't know what it is about college. Maybe it's because sometimes you stay up later, but if you can avoid it, please. Okay, so a lot of people are asking about the general, like gen ed classes at Liberty University. So basically our university has pretty much the same exact gen eds when it comes to English, math, blah, 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 all that type of stuff, which is, I don't even like to think about it. But there are a few extra gen ed classes that Liberty does require. Because we are a Christian university, you do have to take, I believe it's like Bible 110. It's not a lot, and a lot of people freak out about it because it's like, which I mean, I do understand, because it is extra classes and it does take extra time to take those classes, but it's not a lot. Like it's not very many classes. Like this semester I will not be taking any gen ed classes. I am done with my gen ed classes when it comes to like English and Liberty's required classes. But if you want to go ahead, you can actually look at a gen ed DCP. I'm gonna try to link one of those down below, because I know that's really helpful for a lot of people to kind of like see in person, but it's not a lot of extra. And honestly, I learned a lot in those, and I feel like if you're going to a Christian university, you might as well take some classes from Christian professors about Christian things. I think I enjoyed it, but I know a lot of people don't, but I think it's manageable. Another question that I thought was interesting, and I'm answering this because I want to keep myself accountable for it, but what do you eat for breakfast before class? And you got me there, because honestly I'm really bad about breakfast sometimes, and I know I need to be better, so I'm trying to keep myself accountable. But honestly, it's mainly just a Cliff Bar sometimes. Making things is just not my forte. As much as you guys might think that I cook, I don't. Cliff Bars are really the way to go, or the peanut butter chocolate chip perfect bars. Chef's kiss, those are so good. So maybe I'll be better about breakfast this year, but the chances of that are really slim. Another question that I feel like is just too flattering but also kind of relevant is, how do you juggle keeping your status of an absolute legend while taking classes? I wouldn't call myself a legend, but I thought this was an interesting question because I actually do tend to juggle a lot of things in college, like maybe too many things, more than I can handle, but I feel like I have a little bit of advice on this. Oh gosh, where do we start? So when it comes to juggling my classes, my social life, my YouTube work, my class projects, blah, 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 all that type of stuff, it's a lot, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it does get a little bit difficult sometimes. And I did talk about this in a video of mine before, that when it comes to, you know, time blocking and stuff like that, it's not my specialty, but I do always prioritize what I know needs to be done, and I get those things done first. Like for example, I would say that I really do prioritize my schoolwork as much as I really do love going to and hang out with my friends, I always seem to know what I need to get done, and I normally try to get that done first or make sure that I'm going to have time to finish it in the long run. I think one of the biggest tips I have is being conscious about what you have and what you have to do and kind of trying to gauge how much time it's gonna take. So basically, like if I know I have a project due the next day, I would, you know, maybe hang out with my friends in the morning, but I would make sure that I give myself enough time to either finish up that project or put some final touches on it later that night and make sure that I'm being smart about the time, you know what I'm saying? Just making sure I'm making smart decisions, guys, because I don't want my grades to flop because of silly mistakes. But on the other hand, I also do balance a podcast, a YouTube channel, and I also do prioritize those things sometimes because I'm so passionate about my YouTube channel and my podcast. So I think that sometimes I always make sure that I throw in some editing time in there and make sure that I am filming videos and stuff like that. So it really is just a balance, and it's a personal schedule. I really can't stress this enough. It's like, really, I can't give you the best advice because it really is about your personal schedule, and you know when you have time to do things and when you don't. So don't lie to yourself and tell yourself like, oh, I have 15 minutes before class. Don't do that to yourself. That's just dumb. Do it the night before or stay up till 3 a.m. Like, that's just great advice.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, like, I am guilty of that, but if you don't have to pull all-nighters, then don't, because I mean, it's kind of fun though. I'm not condoning that, but you guys asked some pretty good questions. Y'all, I'm just like sitting here, and if you guys could see like what's behind the camera, my room
just looks like a mess
because I'm packing right now to go to school. And that's another tip, packing, I don't have it because literally when I pack for school, things are just everywhere. I don't even have a packing method. I feel like I've done this so many times that I should. I do not. I'm really bad at packing. It's not my specialty, but things are just like everywhere. Oh, hey guys, we're here for a little commercial break. Okay, so today's video is in partnership with Paul Jones Fashion. This company reached out to me over email because they have a brand new summer line of clothing that just came out, and they wanted me to try a few of the pieces and talk to you guys about them. So we are here. I got the pieces in the mail the other day, and I'm very excited to show them to you guys. So they let me pick out a few pieces, and I went for some things that I knew are going to be more in my style range. We all know that I'm very into neutrals, creams, whites, blacks, blah, 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 all that type of stuff. So that is what I went for. And honestly, when they said summer line, I was very interested to see how they were gonna execute this, and by already picking the pieces out of the package, I could definitely see these as summer clothing pieces because they're very light but also like good material. So if you guys need like vacation clothing, this is kind of what I thought this clothing would be good for, was like a nice like vacation outfit, like very lightweight, so you're not gonna like sweat to death, but it's also like good quality, if that makes sense. So I went ahead and got 4 pieces. So the first piece that I got are these like cream colored pants, and what's really nice is that they have a button and a zipper and also like a string, like a, what is that called? I don't really know. And they're like a nice cream color, so I thought they were really nice. The next item that I got was this like kind of lighter, same kind of color material as the pants, but it's a long sleeve. And what I like about this long sleeve is that it actually has these like fun pockets. It looks super fun on, if that makes sense. So I think that this would be kind of fun as well to like wear to dinner or something like that, or to wear like over something, kind of like a beach cover up. I don't really know. Like, I would love to put these pieces of clothing to the test at the beach. I went ahead and got the cream pants again, but in the color black. So it's like the same exact color pants, but it's in black because we could, oh my gosh, did you guys hear that? That really scared me. That was thunder. Anyways, so I got the cream pants in the color black because you could always use a nice pair of black pants, and it's nice because they're like really sleek looking, like very nice, but they're also very comfortable, casual feeling, if that makes sense. And the last item I got was this nice cream color button-up shirt. All of the material for these pieces of clothing are actually the same. They feel very similar. So the company ended up sending me a few discount codes over for you guys. So if you guys are interested in trying out some of these Amazon fashion trends, whatever you guys want to call it, you guys can use my discount code. So there are 3 different discount codes for different items, which I thought was kind of weird, but then again, it kind of makes sense. So for the pants, if you guys want to use the code AustinPJ, you get 40% off of the pants, which is kind of a really, really, really good deal. So again, use AustinPJ for the pants. And then for the linen jacket, you can get 20% off using the code AustinPA. So 20% off the jacket using the code AustinPA. And then you could get 50% off off the linen shirts with the code AustinPO. So 50% off the shirts and then 20% off the jacket and 40% off the pants. I would say that's a pretty good deal. All of those discount codes are gonna be linked in the description box down below if you guys are interested in trying any of these pieces of clothing. But thank you so much, Paul Jones, for working with me on this video. And yeah, let's get back into the video. I feel like I've answered a good amount of questions for this video, so I'm gonna do one more and then we're gonna cut it off there because I know that me talking most of the time just gets annoying, so I don't wanna bore you guys. So the last question I'm gonna answer is your favorite and least favorite part about Liberty, and that is a very fully loaded question because I have a lot of favorite things and I do have a lot of things that I'm like, that's not it, love. I feel so awful doing this, but if you guys want to hear some of the things that I really do dislike about Liberty, you should go listen to my podcast with Ali and Michaela, the Tuesday Tea podcast. Follow us on Instagram, listen to the podcast because there are a few times in the episodes where we do mention things that we necessarily don't like about Liberty, and I think that it's very insightful and we do give, it's not like a hate, it's like things that we think could be better and just need to be improved on campus and how we could be better at improving our university because we are students and we have a say in how things go sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So if you guys want to hear some of that stuff, you can definitely go ahead and listen to the Tuesday Tea podcast. Honestly, the podcast slaps. So some of my favorite things about Liberty are just the people that I've met there, to be completely honest. Like, it's just amazing how many great friends I've met and how many amazing people go to Liberty, and I just love being around that kind of like hard work ethic, and the professors are pretty great. They're really down to help you out with anything, and I feel like I've made really good connections with some of my professors in the past, so that's what I really love. But yeah, that's like some of the stuff. I feel like I could do a whole video about that type of thing, so if you guys want to see that, let me know in the comment section down below. All right, I feel like I've been talking for way too long, so we're gonna cut the video off here, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. I hope it's very insightful. If you guys want to see more type of Q&As like this, let me know. Ask me questions. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, all of that fun jazz. Everything is gonna be linked in the description box down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, but please refrain from hitting that dislike button because nobody likes that, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! College.